Good evening and welcome back to the Turnstile. My name's Harry, and today we are covering the game Arsenal versus West Ham. Before we go into it, though, thank you again for joining us on the journey to 100 subscribers. Thank you for all the support on social media. Obviously, the Instagram page with a lot of the footage of the games that we go to has been getting some great feedback. So, again, if you could give us a comment on what you think about the content, your opinion on the games. Drop us a like, give us a follow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram under the Turnstile. And just let me know what you think is going to happen between now and the end of the season. Obviously, a massive, massive game today. Every game at the moment is a huge game. Going away to West Ham, who are in very poor form. Obviously, we saw them get the win last week. I believe it was against Southampton. But with the form that they're in and the way that we've been playing football, what we saw in the first sort of 30 minutes away at Anfield, I thought it might be a game that we would turn them over quite easily. There was obviously those pre-game nerves. Being an Arsenal fan, we've all seen over the years when we get ourselves into these great situations, and it's always a game like this where we seem to trip up. We saw it earlier in the season with Everton. We saw it last year again with Everton, with Newcastle, the Brighton Palace game. Just these little games that are difficult. They should be an easy win for you, but we just seem to stumble on them. Now, going into the game, Zinchenko being missing was a bit of a disappointment. Obviously, we know it was to do with a tight groin. Hopefully, that's not going to keep him out too long. Great to see him there, though, supporting the boys, as he always does. An absolute passion merchant, and I'm totally there for it. The unity in the team this year is what's really helped deliver some of those massive, massive performances. The game started really well, obviously going in 2-0 up within the first 10 minutes. I was texting friends, texting family saying, we look incredible. The football we were playing, it looked like a training exercise. We didn't look like we'd got out of second gear, but we were just passing it around and cutting through West Ham with ease. I thought at that point that was going to be game over. We'd probably run away with it, score a third goal, kill the game off. But the penalty, it really seems to be a turning point in the game. Very, very sloppy from Thomas Partey, who looked like the Thomas Partey of the year that we signed him, where even he himself said that he was playing 4 out of 10 for his performances. It looked to be another one of those games for Thomas Partey. His passing was off. He just seemed a little bit weaker in the challenges, a little bit rash, and he was very, very sloppy giving away the penalty. Once it was awarded, I was quite confident, really, that they were going to overturn it with handball, but apparently not. It did seem to sort of clip him on the arm, maybe not enough to overturn the decision. But from that point on, I think the age of the team really started to show. I think when it comes down to just a standard game of football in a friendly game, that Arsenal team has the ability to turn over absolutely anybody that it plays. It's free flowing, it's confident, the ability on the ball, the way that they break through the lines is top draw. But I think the age of the team, like I say, that's the inexperience. I think because the title race is so close, every game is to play for. Once that first goal for West Ham went in, I think the boys started to panic a little bit, started to think about what happens if this becomes 2-2, what happens if we lose this game, and it just makes everything a little bit more frantic. We saw that on the pitch. I think we really struggled to get on the ball after that second goal. All the passes just seemed to be a little bit overhit. They were getting stuck under people's feet. It just didn't seem like they were fully with it today. I think a huge miss as well has been William Saliba. I think you can see that in the performances since he went missing in that game against Sporting Lisbon. Although Rob Holding, he can come in, he can do a job. I think that the presence of William Saliba at the back, it just gives you that bit of extra security, that bit of extra confidence. The amount of times we saw the ball come into the back line and Rob Holding absolutely hit it into Rose Ed, sending it out for a throw-in, booting it long and just letting them come wave after wave after wave. I think it's sensible because obviously Rob Holding is not the same player as Saliba. He's playing to his strengths. He's not trying to do anything fancy with it. He's just getting it away from the danger zone. But it just invites that pressure over and over again. I think if William Saliba had been playing today, we might have taken the sting out of West Ham and eventually they would have worn down and we'd probably run away with the game. Obviously, the penalty for Arsenal, a huge moment. Bukayo Saka stepping up to take the penalty. Obviously, after the whole incident with the Euros, a very brave thing for him to do. And the ones that he has stepped up and taken for us, he's been absolutely perfect. I won't criticise Saka at all. It happens to the best of us. We've seen Salah miss penalties. We've seen some of the great footballers in the world. Cristiano Ronaldo's missed penalties. You can't blame it on him. But there was something when he stepped up to take it. I did think that he might miss it. The run up seemed to be quite short, just to the right of the ball. I don't know if maybe he was trying too hard to get it into that corner and he's just overthought it with everything that's going on around the game. But yeah, a huge disappointment. And I think that then ends up leading to their goal. I think the heads go a little bit more. They hit us on the break. We don't step up when the ball comes back out. Jared Bowen onside, great finish by him. And fair play to West Ham for a team that have been in a relegation battle and they are still battling for their lives. I think they defended really well today. They doubled up on people, Martinelli, Saka, after they scored their goal. They really tried to keep them quiet. They were like a brick wall at times. It just seemed that we'd get into that final third, sit around that edge and then just not really be able to penetrate. I think Martin Odegaard had a really off game today. I mean, he sets himself such high standards that, of course, there are going to be games where he doesn't live up to that. But he just seemed a bit rushed. There was a couple of passes where he's played it straight out of play. He just didn't look fully confident today. And again, I think that's because we know how important 3 points on the board is at this point. A lot of Arsenal fans, I've got the feeling that they seem to think that the season is over now. And myself included, I think this is very much in Manchester City's hands. Watching them play the other day against Bayern Munich, they were unbelievable. They really run Bayern Munich ragged, and they're one of the best teams in Europe. They made it look so easy, and that game could have been 5, 6, 7-0 if they'd been more clinical in front of goal. So with the form that they're hitting, you would think that Man City will run away with it from now. However, it's not doom and gloom. If we win the rest of our games between now and the end of the season, we win the Premier League title. There's tough games in there still. Obviously, we have to go away to the Etihad. That's in 10 days' time. That is an absolutely monumental game. I think that's the main concern for me. Like I say, with the team on their day, they can turn over absolutely anyone. Will that big occasion be too much for them? We saw it last year with the trip to Newcastle. We saw it when City came to the Emirates. We get a little bit carried away. You even saw it when we went away to Old Trafford this year. Can we keep our heads? Can we put in a performance and win that Premier League title? I think there were positives to take from today. I think, however, the majority feeling is that it's going to be 2 points dropped. It's a game that we should have won. I think some of the substitutions, they weren't the best. I think bringing Jorginho on was good, but I think Bukayo Saka, he looks absolutely knackered at the moment. I think he needs a rest. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start him in the next game. Maybe put Martinelli onto the right-hand side and bring Trossard onto the left. I thought when he came on, he looked brilliant. Couple of great touches, great footwork. He really seems hungry for a couple of goals as well. So I'd like to see him play more. And I think Kieran Tierney had a good game as well. I wouldn't be against seeing him play against Manchester City. I love Zinchenko and I love the way that he inverts. But in terms of a defensive unit, I think Kieran Tierney is a lot more solid. We saw it against Liverpool, obviously, when Salah had so much space down that right-hand side because Zinchenko was inverting. I think Tierney would be a good choice there. But there's still so much to play for. Obviously, we play on Friday night against Southampton at the Emirates. Hopefully, we see the perfect response for Arsenal. We need to see us bounce back, hit the ground running, show City that we're still in this, and then we have that crucial game away at the Etihad. So all still to play for. It's not all doom and gloom. It can still be done. But until Friday, I wish you all the best week. And again, any comments that you've got on the game, the team's performance, it'd be great to hear your feedback. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you guys soon.